I work night shift as a guard at a government research lab most people have never heard of. That is not an exaggeration. There are no public listings, no signs on the road, not even a digital footprint you can trace. When I took the job, I thought it would be a quiet paycheck. Just a remote facility in the woods with thick fences and motion cameras. Sit, watch the monitors, maybe patrol a little. But from the very first night, something was off. The lab was silent, yet I could hear sounds. The rooms were empty, yet lights flickered on. Then came the printed manual, handed to me by a man in a suit with no name tag, no smile, and no eye contact. He simply said, "Read the rules. Follow every single one. Do not test them. They are not suggestions." I did not ask questions. I should have. The facility is officially unnamed. Internally, it is referred to only as Unit 3. It lies nestled deep in the forest, surrounded by chain-linked fences and concrete walls, with just one narrow access road that turns to dirt after the first mile. Every night, I drive past 2 unmanned gates, enter a third with a key card, and report to a small guard room facing a dozen surveillance monitors. The monitors do not show all rooms, just specific ones. I found that strange. A lab of this scale should have complete visual coverage, yet it did not. The layout of the building itself is disorienting. Long corridors stretch in unnatural directions. Doors are labeled not by number but by strange codes, X.7B, R.21N, and so on. Some have red lights above them that never turn green. Some have no handle at all. On my first patrol, I passed a hallway that seemed to loop back onto itself even though I never turned. I felt dizzy for hours after. On my second night, I found a note on my desk. It was handwritten on aged paper and sealed in a plastic sleeve. Reminder, the rules are for your safety, not for understanding. The first rule printed in the manual caught my eye immediately. If you pass Mirror Hall and see your reflection blink or smile, do not respond. Do not stop. Keep walking. Ignore any sound it makes. It is not you. Mirror Hall is a corridor lined with mirrored glass on both sides. Why a scientific facility would have such a hallway was beyond me. On my third night, I encountered it during a routine patrol. The lights flickered as I entered, and I felt my chest tighten. My reflection matched my steps, blinked when I blinked, until it did not. I froze. My reflection stared back at me, motionless. Then it smiled. I wanted to step closer, to check if it was a trick of the light, but I remembered the rule. I kept walking. The smile widened as I passed. My stomach turned cold. When I looked again, the reflection was gone, though I was still standing in the hall. Later, the hallway was removed from the map, as if it never existed. The second rule was printed in bold red ink. Room N.9 must remain locked. You will hear knocking. You may hear crying. No one is inside. Do not open the door. The door to room N.9 looks ordinary, but it is reinforced with triple bolts. Every night, it echoes faint knocks, soft at first, then frantic. Sometimes it sounds like fingernails scraping wood. Other times, I swear I hear voices calling my name in tones only I would recognize. Once, on a particularly stormy night, the knocking stopped. Curious and reckless, I approached the door. As I stood inches away, the lights above me burst, one by one, down the hall. I stepped back. The air grew colder. My walkie-talkie hissed static until I returned to my station. When I reviewed the hallway camera footage the next morning, the video skipped 2 minutes. Those minutes showed a frozen frame of me, standing in front of the door, unmoving, staring straight into the lens with eyes that were not mine. I have not approached room N.9 again. The manual states, occasionally, room X.7B will appear occupied. If you see a man in a white lab coat writing on the glass from inside, do not make eye contact. Walk past the room. The person inside is not registered staff. This rule seemed easy until I saw him. He looks ordinary. Balding, middle-aged, glasses too thick for his face. He does not look up, only scribbles equations on the glass window with a black marker. I saw him on my 6th shift. The first night, I walked by quickly, as instructed. The second night, I paused. Just long enough to read the numbers. They did not make sense. Not mathematically. They were formulas and glyphs I could not recognize. On the third night, he looked up. He stared at me, smiled once, then vanished before my eyes. Not stepped away, vanished. Since then, I have heard faint scribbles from rooms labeled vacant on the map. This one was not even in the printed manual. It was taped above my monitor with electrical tape, in all capital letters. Do not watch camera 8 after midnight. Turn off the monitor if needed. Camera 8 faces a room with no door, just a window. The room itself is a white cube, clean, empty, echoing. The first time I checked it after midnight, the screen went black for 2 seconds. When the feed returned, I was staring at myself. Not at the room, at me, seated in the security chair, watching the monitor. Then on screen I stood up. My hands moved differently. My face twitched. My copy turned, looked directly into the camera, and smiled. I turned off the monitor. Now the image appears even when the monitor is off. There are only 2 night guards scheduled, me and a man named Victor. We alternate patrols. He is older, quiet, and prefers to keep his radio off. One night I saw someone else. They wore the same uniform but walked strangely, jerky, like a puppet. I called out. No answer. I followed. At the end of the hall, they turned the corner. When I chased after them, they were gone. No doors nearby, no exits. I reviewed the footage. There was nothing there. When I asked Victor the next night, he said only, they copy what they see. Try not to be seen too much. I have not used the mirror since. Over the weeks, the facility seemed to study me as much as I was guarding it. The coffee I brewed sometimes turned to black sludge moments after pouring. The photographs in my wallet began changing subtly, faces smiling that should not be. Notes I never wrote appeared in my locker, reminding me to wake up. Sometimes I would patrol and return to find my previous shift log already filled out in my handwriting. Sleep became a challenge. Time began to feel warped. Some nights felt like minutes. Others stretched endlessly, with shadows moving in ways light could not explain. I stopped asking questions. I started obeying the rules completely. There is a freight elevator that leads underground. It has no floor listing, no buttons except one, marked hold. It requires 2 keys. One is in my drawer. I do not know. The manual is clear. Do not attempt to access the basement. No shifts are assigned below level 0. Violations will not be addressed. One night, the elevator doors were open when I arrived. Inside, the walls were wet. There were deep scratch marks across the floor. As I approached, I heard a voice whispering from the shaft, repeating my full name. Not loudly, but clearly. It repeated again and again, as if calling me home. I locked the doors manually and filed a report. The form disappeared from the drawer by morning. The elevator has not opened since, but I hear it humming every night. After several months, I understood what this place truly was. This is not just a lab. It is a container. A vault for things that break nature, memory, and identity. Things not meant to exist. Maybe some of them were created here. Maybe some came from somewhere else. But all of them are smarter than we think. Some are patient. Some mimic. Some escape through attention alone. The rules are not security measures. They are compromises. Ways to keep us sane while working next to chaos. Last night, a new rule appeared in the manual. It was not written in my handwriting, yet it sat neatly at the end of the list. If you find this page, it is already too late. Do not let them know you can read the rules. I tore it out, burned it, locked my locker. When I turned around, the hallway mirror was fogged. There was a handprint on the inside. I still work night shifts at the government research lab. I follow every rule. I speak to no one. I watch nothing too long. I forget details on purpose. I write everything down. And above all, I never, ever blink near Mirror Hall. Because I am no longer sure if the man on the other side of the glass is waiting to escape, or if he already has.